Welcome to Hollywood. In this video, we're going to unveil the private lives of 17 secretly gay stars of the golden age of Hollywood, a time when studios crafted public images while hiding their stars' most intimate truths. Many of these actors lived double lives. On screen, they played the dashing romantic lead, but behind closed doors, they faced the pressure of hiding who they really were. The fear of scandal, career ruin, or even blackmail kept many closeted. But today, we're peeling back the curtain to honor the truth of these iconic legends. 1. Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson was the ultimate matinee idol, tall, handsome, and romantic. But behind that perfect Hollywood image was a man forced to live in the shadows. Throughout his career, he dated men discreetly while Universal Studios arranged dates with starlets for the press. It wasn't until his tragic death from AIDS in 1985 that the world fully grasped the truth. His coming out posthumously was one of the first major cultural moments that forced Hollywood to face the reality of closeted stardom and the AIDS crisis. 2. Montgomery Clift. Montgomery Clift was known for his intense performances in classics like A Place in the Sun and From Here to Eternity. He was also one of the first actors to challenge the studio system, and lived a private but open life among his close friends as a gay man. Clift was romantically linked to men like choreographer Jerome Robbins and reportedly had a complicated relationship with Elizabeth Taylor, who was one of the few who knew his truth. 3. Tab Hunter. Tab Hunter was the clean-cut boy next door, until he wasn't. In the 1950s, he was one of Warner Brothers' biggest heartthrobs, starring in teen movies and romantic comedies. But Tab was hiding a secret that could have ended his career. In his 2005 memoir Tab Hunter Confidential, he came out publicly, revealing long-term relationships with figure skater Ronnie Robertson and actor Anthony Perkins. His honesty came late in life, but it set the record straight. 4. Anthony Perkins. Best known as Norman Bates in Psycho, Anthony Perkins' personal life was often overshadowed by his iconic role. Behind his boyish smile was a man deeply conflicted by his sexuality. Though he later married and had children, Perkins had numerous relationships with men, including Tab Hunter. Like many actors of his time, he was encouraged to undergo conversion therapy to conform to the Hollywood image of masculinity. 5. Raymond Burr. Raymond Burr, best known as Perry Mason in Ironside, crafted a public story about 2 wives and a child, none of whom ever existed. It was all a fabrication, likely created to cover up his decades-long relationship with a man named Robert Benavides. The two lived together for over 30 years, and after Burr's death, Benavides inherited his estate. Yet during Burr's life, the truth was carefully shielded from the press and the public. 6. James Dean. James Dean was the very embodiment of 1950s rebellion, but his sexuality was as complex as the characters he played. Whispers of same-sex relationships followed him throughout his brief career. He was reportedly involved with men like Jack Simmons and producer Rogers Brackett. Dean never labeled himself, but his fluidity and refusal to fit into a box continued to inspire generations of LGBTQ+ fans. 7. Carrie Grant. Carrie Grant was the epitome of charm, sophistication, and romantic comedy. But while he was married multiple times to women, there was always a lingering question about his private life, especially his longtime relationship with actor Randolph Scott. The two lived together on and off for more than a decade, with publicity photos even showing them in domestic bliss. Studio heads dismissed it all as a bachelor bromance, but the depth of their bond told a different story. 8. Randolph Scott. Randolph Scott was a cowboy icon, but off-screen, he shared a life with Carrie Grant that has become legendary in LGBTQ+ Hollywood lore. While both men denied rumors, their shared Beverly Hills home, dubbed Bachelor Hall, told a different story. Whether or not they were romantically involved, their long companionship was deeper than a typical friendship, especially by Hollywood standards. 9. Sal Mineo. Sal Mineo was a teen idol in the 1950s and earned an Oscar nomination for Rebel Without a Cause. But as his career waned, Mineo began to take more risks, both artistically and personally. By the 1970s, he was one of the few actors in Hollywood open about being gay. Sadly, his openness may have contributed to him being marginalized in the industry. He was murdered in 1976 at the age of 37, a tragic end to a bold life. 10. Van Johnson. MGM's golden boy Van Johnson was known for musicals and romantic dramas. But behind the clean image was a man rumored to be gay, with studio executives stepping in to arrange a quick marriage to dispel speculation. He was often linked to his co-stars and was known to frequent gay hotspots discreetly. The truth about Johnson may never be fully known, but the whispers surrounding his private life never faded. 11. Charles Laughton. An Oscar-winning actor known for The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Mutiny on the Bounty, Charles Laughton was a respected powerhouse of the screen. Though married to actress Elsa Lanchester, she later confirmed that he was homosexual. Despite the constraints of his era, Laughton carved out a career based on talent and presence, not leading man looks, allowing him some protection from the usual gossip mills. 12. Farley Granger. Farley Granger starred in Alfred Hitchcock's Rope and Strangers on a Train, and his boyish charm made him a rising star in the late 1940s. What many didn't know at the time was that he had relationships with both men and women. In his candid autobiography, Include Me Out, Granger discussed affairs with Leonard Bernstein and Arthur Lawrence, embracing bisexuality with no regrets. 13. George Nader. George Nader never reached the same level of fame as some of his contemporaries, but he was a talented actor who found a measure of success in the 1950s. He was also openly gay within Hollywood circles. When a scandal threatened to out-rock Hudson, Nader reportedly took the fall and stepped away from the spotlight to protect his friend. He remained with his partner, Mark Miller, for over 50 years. 14. William Haynes. One of the first openly gay stars in Hollywood, William Haynes was a silent film heartthrob in the 1920s and early 1930s. When MGM head Louis B. Mayer gave him an ultimatum, marry a woman or give up his career, Haynes chose love. He left acting and started a successful interior design business with his partner, Jimmy Shields. Joan Crawford once called them, the happiest married couple in Hollywood. 15. Dirk Bogard. Though more of a British star, Dirk Bogard had a strong presence in Hollywood as well. He never publicly came out, but letters and biographies have confirmed a lifelong relationship with his manager, Anthony Forwood. Bogard's performances often had a quiet intensity, and he was among the first major stars to take on roles in films with homosexual themes, such as Victim 1961, which helped break cinematic taboos. 16. Richard Chamberlain. Richard Chamberlain gained fame in the 1960s with Dr. Kildare and continued to act well into the 1980s. For decades, he denied rumors about his sexuality. It wasn't until the early 2000s that he publicly acknowledged he was gay, citing the danger of being out during the height of his career. Chamberlain later reflected that living in fear robbed him of years of happiness and connection. 17. Paul Lynde. Best remembered as a comic genius on Hollywood squares and in Bewitched, Paul Lynde was never publicly out, but his sexuality was an open secret in showbiz. He was flamboyant, hilarious, and wildly popular, but he also struggled with depression and alcohol, possibly due to the pressure of maintaining a public persona that never truly reflected who he was. These 17 stars helped shape the golden age of Hollywood, and many did it while hiding a core part of who they were. Some never got the chance to live openly. Others chose quiet defiance or courageously came out later in life. Their stories remind us how far we've come, and how much further we have to go, in allowing everyone to live authentically, especially those in the spotlight. Thanks for watching Hollywood. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts or someone we may have missed.